I'm Paul.
In the beginning, there was darkness.
And that's Jason. And in the beginning, there was darkness.
No,
what
what
the heck does
wait,
that
sorry,
mean?
wait, what was it? Oh, in the beginning, there was the word. That was what I was, I was gonna make a joke because it was black. We didn't have the pictures.
Oh.
So I was
And
making
then God created light.
and then,
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
it landed.
Just real quick, if you're joining us for a return trip and you're used to us being Don't Call Me Pretentious, spoiler, we changed our name and we're now Casual Notion. So you can everything's changed. Go follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/Casual Notion. We have an Instagram now, instagram.com/Casual Notion, and twitch.tv/Casual Notion. Jason, season 2, episode 8. If memory serves, what's your first reaction?
I wept at the
You
last.
wept?
I openly wept at the last mind meld scene. I hid it from you.
Wait, what? At the
Yeah.
last mind meld scene?
Yes.
Oh, where you find out about Spock?
Yes.
What a devastating scene.
I was absolutely heartbroken.
Oh, how could you make that? How could you make that adorable young Spock
I was actually
cry
really,
like that?
It's fun and it's crazy because I started off so disappointed because I like
With the episode?
No. I loved the episode, but I think this is my favorite episode so far.
Okay.
But when the scenes sorry when the scene started
Yep.
it just seemed a bit all she did all this build up was just because she was mean to him when she was like a little kid.
Yeah.
I figured it was gonna be like they were like a little bit older.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be something more serious.
But then it got
bad.
You're
right?
like, oh no.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be kind of lame, and then it just did not do that.
No. Oof.
So
There were some deep cuts in there.
Yeah, how did you feel about it?
About the episode?
In general, how did you feel about it?
I just can't get on board with it.
How you like the Pigman voice? That's secretly an AI.
What? The Pigman voice.
The admirals from Section 31. There's 3 guys.
Yeah.
They're not real. One of them was a Pigman. He had a weird voice.
From Section 31.
That's the secret intelligence agency.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay, in the beginning, whenever Leland and Giorgio, they're
Yeah.
talking to those 3 guys.
Yeah.
That's Control.
That's not Section 31. That's Federation. That's like Starfleet Command.
I think that...
And that guy, the Pigman, is Tellarite.
Right.
They're part of the Federation.
But that's not them. They're AI. They say it, I think.
What?
Yeah, on the way out. I never thought AI would be telling us what to do. And where I come from, when she talks, like right away, Giorgio says, you know, in my universe, we don't let AIs tell us what to do. They're taking orders.
The Tellarites aren't AI. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I understand that. They're holograms. They don't really look like that.
I don't know what you're saying. I'm very confused right now.
I don't think that those are real people.
Those were just hologram communications.
I understand that. I don't think they represent what people actually look like. I think those people are not real. I think they are projection by an AI. I thought they said that. What were they talking about with an AI in the beginning?
I don't know that anybody said that. I think you imagined that, or you misheard something.
It's possible.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So for me, yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. As an episode, like it reminds me of Star Trek Into Darkness, right? Which I've always said, like, as a movie, if you take it out of everything else, it's a competently made movie.
Mm.
And it's entertaining, and there's good acting, there's a good story, all that stuff, blah, 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 right? It's only when you put it in Star Trek lore and you take it in the context that it starts to fall apart, right?
Mm.
I feel like this episode of Discovery is the same way. Like, if you look at it as a standalone, just in a vacuum, it was a very good hour of television. Okay,
For sure.
Oh yeah, and there were some like you said, the moment where you see Burnham talking to Spock, right? You're right. It was a devastating moment, and yes, I was tearing up too. I was like, how could you say things like that?
The actress sold it too.
Oh yeah. You know,
Normally
Sonequa Martin Green did well. Yeah. Both the child actors did well, and it was.
Oh yeah, that little boy's so adorable.
He was so adorable. How could you say that to him? Right?
He was a real boy.
He is a real boy.
I know. I forgot.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's a very competently made episode with some really good scenes, and I will say, the thing I complained about last week was how I felt like that episode was basically pointless. Like none of it really mattered. It was just fluff. It felt like an episode of fluff. This episode definitely was not that, right? There was a lot of really important stuff that happened in this episode. But I think for me, it really starts to fall apart in several different ways. So, for example, up until the very last scene, Spock did not feel like Spock to me. He was just too angry. The Spock that we see pre this time period in TOS in the cage.
You've never seen him around his sister before. This is a different side of Spock.
Well, okay, I'll get to that too.
Sure.
Okay. So the Spock that we see in the cage, which was like a few years before this episode takes place. Mm-hmm. He's very, I've talked about before, he's very emotional. He laughs. He does all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they redid the actual pilot, then he was we don't have any emotion, right? But you always saw throughout TOS and especially the TOS movies, he had this very like genteel, like, there wasn't a lot of emotion there, but he was still like a pleasant person. Mm-hmm. He seemed caring and courteous.
Yeah, he doesn't like her, but he doesn't like her.
I know, and that could be it because, like I said, at the end, when he was with Pike, I was like, oh, yeah, now he feels like Spock.
Yeah, so we just seen a new side of him.
Okay. So, but then this takes it to the other problem, which again, the relationship between him and Burnham, great until you put it in the lore, and then you find out. I mean, they literally call it the defining moment of his life, and we never hear about her again.
Okay. I think we might be putting the cart before the horse. Let's just back up for a second.
Yeah.
All right. Take a deep breath. Explain to me what happened in that pilot episode exactly, because I don't quite get it.
Okay.
Well, how did the Tellarians do? Yes. How is that girl? To explain that lady to me.
Okay. So Jason hasn't seen The Cage, so I will now try to give a synopsis of The Cage.
I dig it.
So in The Cage, the Enterprise, this takes place a few years before, obviously Pike is captain. And in The Cage, which was the unaired pilot of TOS, the Enterprise arrives at Talos for, I don't remember why. But anyway, they beam down. They see, the flowers that Burnham sees. And she's like, oh, they see, that's like directly. And they even use the same sound effects from the episode. Yeah, no. I mean, like, it's definitely a better looking special effects.
No, I know. The idea just seems very...
Yeah. But they did use the exact same special effects.
Good.
Okay, so anyway, in The Cage, what happens, they beam down, and Pike ends up getting captured, and these Telosians, basically, or Telosians, as they say sometimes in this episode, basically the gist of the story is that they do everything with their mind. That's why they have those huge heads, right? They communicate telepathically. They do everything telepathically. But because of that, apparently they became weak. Like, they're physically weak, and they're unable to sustain their planet. So their species is dying out. Because they evolved to such a point, they relied too much on their mental capacity that, like, they physically couldn't survive anymore for some reason.
Huh.
Really weird thing.
Okay, I must have imagined so many things. Did I not hear that they would nuke? There was like a nuclear disaster on the planet.
That could have been what happened.
I could have sworn I heard them say that.
I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that episode, and I don't particularly care for it.
I'm pretty confident that they brought up that it's.
If somebody in chat remembers if there was a nuclear accident, go ahead and comment.
No,
I don't remember that.
No. Whenever
or a nuclear attack.
Whenever Burnham is in the shuttle.
Yeah.
And the AI, the computer is telling her all about the planet.
Yeah.
And she talks about his history, right?
Yeah.
What happened to them? I'm pretty sure they mentioned that there was a nuclear disaster.
Okay. Well, that may be a story that they told.
Yeah.
That could be like a cover story. I don't remember that happening in the episode.
Okay.
So anyway, the moral of the story is that their civilization is dying because they're physically weak. So what they do, so that Vina girl, that's real. There was a ship that crashed on there a long time ago. She's disfigured. She survived though, and they made her look like the way she does, the pretty Vina that you see, right? And what their plan is, they capture Pike to essentially force them to reproduce.
Oh,
right. So they're going to force Vina and Pike to repopulate their planet with stronger blood. essentially.
Strong plan. I dig
And
it.
then they were going to like crossbreed, right? They were going to get the strength of the humans and then crossbreeding with the Telosians, or they were going to somehow maybe genetically engineer the breed of humans that came out of those two. I don't know.
And what became of their best laid plans?
So essentially what happens is like other people beam down, but then they only beam down the women. And then there's like a whole thing with basically like, hey, you're going to keep us as slaves and we're not down with that. And then he offers to sacrifice himself to save everybody. But then number one, she offers to sacrifice, like she almost sacrifices herself to save everybody. And in the end, he basically like, I'm not going to do this. Whatever you want of me, I'm not going to do it. So they let him go. And he's like, hey, could we maybe like trade? You know, your civilization's dying. We can help you. Right. And they're like, no, you can't, because then you'll start to get our abilities. And the same thing will happen to you. And we can't let that happen to Federation. We can't let the same thing that happened to our planet happen to you. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's quarantined and you can't go back. Oh. And so they let Pike go away. And basically the whole thing was like, they said that he didn't love her and he wouldn't be with her, but he did love her, but he still wasn't going to be a slave.
Sure.
Right. So that's the whole setup for this episode, is like, she loved him. So they made, like she said, they talked about it in this episode. They made a, vision of Pike that gets to stay with her on the planet, but of course it's not real. But, Pike just went away.
Yeah.
So, and of course in TOS, we really never saw him again until the menagerie, which then was just a rehash of the cage. Yeah. So, you never really got anything of like, oh, did he really love her? How did he feel about it later on? Because he was never in another episode.
Okay, I appreciate that for catching me up.
Yeah.
Now, tell me how you felt about the opening of the episode.
I thought that was great. I thought they really leaned into it.
I thought it was like a advert for streaming all the other episodes. Right, go back and watch the original series, and I was like, oh, we're in the episode.
Yeah,
so I think they were trying to say a thing. Were they trying to say a thing?
What do you mean? Were they trying to say a thing?
I don't know. Okay, so but is the pilot isn't canon, right? That pilot, the cage isn't canon, correct?
I believe it is. Okay, it's a weird thing. It's one of those things. It's like a weird canon, because obviously, again, Spock laughs in that episode. He has lots of emotions in that episode. So is that canon? I don't know. That's weird. Also, the bridge is different. The orientation of the bridge is a little different. That being said, once you go into TOS, it takes place 10 years later. So I guess the idea was like, oh, the ship's been upgraded and retrofitted and all that stuff, right? So, and then I think it would have not been canon had it not been for the fact that, like I said, halfway through season 1, they did the 2-parter episode, The Menagerie, which is basically they ran out of money. They had more episodes to make. They ran out of money. So they decided to take the pilot and then make a new episode out of it. And in The Menagerie, it was 10 years in the future, right? And Pike is like badly disfigured and he's handicapped and all that stuff, right? And he's struggling, and Spock commandeers the Enterprise to take Pike back to Talos 4 for some reason. I don't remember. It's escaping me now. I have a terrible memory.
Sure.
But anyway, and so basically they reused a bunch of the scenes. They reused like almost the entire pilot in those 2 episodes and just filmed some extra scenes around it. And I think at that point it became canon. Okay. But it's still weird and nebulous. So like, yes, it's canon, but it's like,
okay.
And also, by the way, interestingly, in the cage, they kind of suggested that the view screen was a window.
But now hold on. Now hold on. Just to be clear.
Which is layers.
As you mentioned last week.
Yeah.
In the Menagerie.
Yeah.
Spock doesn't mention that he'd ever been to Talos before, correct?
No.
Right.
I never said that.
Oh, so in the Menagerie, Spock at some point says, "Oh, I've been to Talos before."
Yeah, that's why he's taking Pike there.
Oh, okay.
He's very much like, oh, I got to take him there to like. I think because he was like almost in a vegetative state, but like he was still alive, so I think he took him there so they could try to figure out what he was thinking or something.
I understand that. I thought you were saying that they completely recycled the episode and just made it all Menagerie, but Menagerie references the cage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's a bunch of stuff around it.
Gotcha.
They do rehash the episode, but it was a 2-parter. So there was a lot of extra stuff around it.
It's clear now. I got you.
So anyway, so because of that, though, this is another issue I have with it, right? Which is where, okay, if you're going to lean into the fact that this is to the TOS references so heavily to the point where you start the episode with last time on Star Trek and you just show scenes from the cage. If you're going to do that, then why did you make the Telosians look different?
I like the look better.
I like the look better, but I have no problem with it looking like cleaner and all that stuff. Yeah, that's what you expect. The nose ridge. Why the nose ridge? They didn't have a nose ridge. I don't understand what the point of that was.
It didn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me because it's one of those things that's so minor that it's like, okay, yeah, it can't bother me. But it's also so minor. It's like, if it's so minor, why did you do it? Like, people are going to complain about it. Just don't do it.
Sure. I think they just have a problem. They're not as comfortable as Seth MacFarlane with the minimal alien indicators.
Well, then you get into a whole thing about apparently stuff has to be like 25% different for like some kind of intellectual property because, of course, back then it was co-owned by CBS and Paramount. So, like, I don't know. Apparently, there's like a legal requirement that they had to make stuff 25% different because now they're two different companies. And so, but I don't know that.
So
other people have contended anyway.
So you're harshing my predictions, but let me tell you where I was at, and you can tell me if you think there's a way to save it.
Okay.
And it's when I saw the Pike thing.
Yep.
And the more I thought about the future stuff.
Yep.
And how there's all these incongruities, especially if, let's think about that. I have a proposal for you. Imagine that Spock really was emotional at one point in the TOS.
Yep.
And then he really was suddenly the logic version that we have now. Right? I wonder if there's some time. I'm hoping that they do some kind of time travel tomfoolery to make it so that both season 1 Spock, where he has his emotions, and ever after, all make sense, right? So maybe for some reason,
I mean, I hope so too.
So hear me out. So what was it that made Spock so cold or whatever? It was Burnham. That's what the claim is.
Yes,
he says you inspire me. That is the claim. So what if Burnham didn't happen, just like you expect, right? So maybe he would be cool with emotions, but some kind of paradox is going to happen so that we get simultaneously a Spock that was cold and no Burnham.
Well, okay, but then if you do that, you're essentially doing a Kelvin timeline bullshit, right? You're introducing a third timeline.
Yeah, I'm hoping they tie that one to it. I'm hoping they use that and they make it all tidy.
No.
For the Patrick Stewart thing. Tie it all together with the Patrick Stewart thing. Right?
Well, but the Patrick Stewart one is supposed to be prime timeline.
But that
and of course there's not going to be canon issues because it's going into non-canon time frames.
But the alpha main time, because alpha timeline, is that what we call it? Prime timeline. It references the Kelvin stuff, right? Spock does go to save Romulus. Romulus is gone in the Prime universe, right? Yes. So we can tie.
And technically speaking, both the Franklin and the Kelvin are.
So we're doing parallel universes. We're doing a new Kelvin one. I say we use it. We tie it all together. It's a multiverse. I love Marvel. I can get into a multiverse. I'm fine with that. We already had one. Now it's just a little more complicated. It's fine.
Yeah, but we have two. Two's enough. I don't need a third one.
Oh, and
I don't need a Discovery
universe.
You
don't like this idea, but you don't balk at the Enterprise J going to visit Captain Archer?
Well, we'll get to that because I'm pretty sure I know what's happening now. But I didn't like that part of Enterprise either.
I didn't either.
Anytime you get into, like, I liked the idea of...
Was it a part that was filmed?
Huh?
Was it a part that was filmed?
What do you mean?
That episode of Enterprise. Then I didn't like it. Go on.
You didn't like any of Enterprise?
I liked a little bit of the Xindi stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Xindi stuff, the season 3 storyline was the best. But every other than
mostly
that,
episode 1 where the Vulcans are telling them, they went crazy and murdered each other in the ship. That was cool. But then really, and they hit Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Thanks, Obama. I don't
know. Nice. No. Look, I mean, Enterprise is not the best, but like I generally like it, and I do really like season 3. Season 4 is rough, and season 1 and 2 aren't that great either. But
I really like the Tellarite. I'll say that I like the Tellarite in not Tellarite. Sorry, Andorian. Sorry, the
Andorian.
I really liked him in Enterprise. I liked him a lot.
Well, he's Weyoun. He's Weyoun, yeah.
But I liked him.
I think he was in.
But I forgot
he was in TNG and Voyager.
But I'll say this: I forgot I could forget he was Weyoun when he was doing it because he was so good at it at the Andorian.
Oh, I couldn't. He has such a distinctive voice. How could you forget?
I just different demeanor. He was doing a good job.
Although here's another thing I would say, like supposedly the Andorians have like 5 genders, like 5 biological sexes.
Yeah.
But then we see a lot of, and we don't see a lot of Andorians in TOS or TNG or anything like that. But we see a lot of them in Enterprise, and you only ever see 2. So like, I don't know, that's just something I found interesting.
I mean, it'd be hard to get creative with it.
Yeah, but I feel like they could have. But anyway, nonetheless, we're reviewing Star Trek Discovery.
How are they gonna? They just arbitrarily said, "Oh, it's just you don't want to hear about it."
Yeah, I don't know. It was something. All right, Star Trek Discovery. Though.
Maybe that's their social justice thing in the future.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Andorians, like they can't handle what we got going on.
So we can only show them 2.
Yeah, like, it's not nothing personal. You just can't handle it. It's like the grandma, she's not a bad lady, but I can't bring my boyfriend,
So it's like yeah. it's like, I'm not saying you're bad people, but if we show you the other 3 genders, I feel like you're gonna Brexit on us,
Brexit on us.
You're gonna Brexit the Federation. Anyway, all right. So I'll say I could rant for a while. I have some other things come up. What did you like? Because you love the episode. What did you like about it?
Did you notice that Pike swings in his chair like Dr. Evil? I noticed it today.
No, I didn't.
He does. He swings like Dr. Evil.
What, like his feet do the little chop left and right? I thought he just took wide swing.
He took a wide swing, but his legs kind of swung like the other way. Like, how like...
yeah. I got what you're saying.
Yeah. So, really? That got part. So yeah. So, what did I like about it? I really liked the psychic people, the Telosians.
The Telosians?
I liked them.
I liked them better than that. In the cage.
I thought Spock was passable.
Yeah, towards the end, if we see more like what we saw in the final scene.
I thought this was some of Burnham's better acting.
Yes, definitely.
I'm getting kind of tired. Well, I guess I don't mind the Allison. Okay, wish it had.
There's just a lot of references.
I wish it had been any other book. It's the hipster's Bible.
It is,
and I just don't care. Everything's Alice in Wonderland. Okay.
Yeah.
Every movie's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Every carnival ride's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
I'm Alice in Wonderland. I feel that you may be Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. Everything's. You want to hear the one that
we're all simultaneously Alice and not Alice.
You know what made me realize it for the first time? How much I hated it was Resident Evil, the first movie.
Okay.
And they were like, "It's Alice in Wonderland." It's a that's That's stupid. It's not. There's zombies in it. Anywho. Sorry. I'm gonna rant there.
All right, but what else? What else?
Yeah. So I liked. I never really liked the husband, the dead husband, but I like him risen.
Oh, Hugh.
Yeah,
who are you talking
I was never super interested in him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like him now.
Oh, so this is gonna be my next problem.
Uh-oh.
Okay, it doesn't make any sense when they saw each other in the mycelial realm, network, whatever it's called, right? He was super excited to be with Paul again. And then he gets a body and he gets back and he's immediately like, "Oh no, I don't like you." So
it's the new body.
Okay, I hope that's where they go with this and that there's a way to fix it. Because the whole reason I was happy about seeing Hugh back was I liked his character and I liked him and Stamets together. Okay? I thought they made a great couple. I thought they played well together. And I was really excited about it. And so now they're destroying it.
Uh-huh.
And that really frustrates me. I don't like that. I really just want to see them be happy. Could you please... Can you please give us a happy gay couple on TV?
I know you don't want to hear this. But I think it would be... guys, I feel like I need to put street cred out there. I'm a liberal. I'm a super duper legit
liberal.
I'm a legit UBI supporting, Green Deal supporting, AOC fanboy, man.
Yeah.
But
check out our podcast, our Casual Notion Political Podcast.
I'm not all that bad, but don't worry. But I really want. I mean, I like in Modern Family. I like the gay couple. They're great.
Sure.
But in this, I think it'd be really interesting if now that he's in this new body, he happens to be straight. I know.
God, I hope they don't do that.
No. But really think about it. Like you just talked about how interesting 5 genders would be.
I hope they don't know. I hope they don't do that.
It'd be so interesting to deal with.
Because Trek has gotten so much shit for so long
about what?
For not having representation of LGBT characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've never had a mainstream LGBTQ main character,
Okay.
right? And they never even really had gay, pansexual, any kind
That's
of those
not
relationships.
strictly true.
Yes, there's been a few episodes. There was the episode of TNG.
Oh, which one? Were you gonna think about
The
again?
one where they go to the planet that has one gender and
Oh
Riker
no,
falls in love with them.
I was mine was stupider, but it's neat. I was thinking the one where I think when Data makes the girl his daughter,
Yeah.
I think it doesn't start out as a girl. I think it starts out.
Well, it starts out generalist.
Yeah,
It's just a robot.
and I think it decides it, right? I think it decides to be a girl.
yes,
So
yes.
there you go.
Yeah, it decides to be a girl. Yeah, that was good. Well, and then of course there was the DS9 episode where Jadzia meets the former
Oh yeah.
lover of Curzon. I
Oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a thing. But anyway, Star Trek has gotten a lot of heat in the past for not having a mainstream gay couple or gay character, and for them to do this with the first one,
I think they can handle it.
it's not going in a good direction.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Now that being
It's
said,
not gonna happen, guys. That's not gonna happen. But
Yeah, I
just think it would be like fascinating.
But that being said, I really like the interaction between Hugh and Tyler.
Yeah, he got punched.
Well, not just the fight scene and all that stuff, because I didn't care about the action. But
I just like seeing Tyler get hit.
yeah, you really don't like him. No, but the whole concept of them having this thing, like I think they're gonna develop a relationship going forward into the show, because they have this now shared thing of they don't know who they are. They're dealing with existential crises because they're literally not in the right bodies. Right? Both of them are literally not in their right body. Their brains have been transplanted into bodies. So they're doing this parallel path thing that's going to bring some kind of understanding between them. And I like that. But why do you have to make them have a rift with Stamets? I don't like that.
Maybe they bang. Maybe
That would be interesting.
Maybe they become a couple.
That would be interesting. Yeah. That would be interesting.
You know, he murdered me once.
Yeah, murder was. We call that foreplay.
Yeah.
Oof, dark. Anyway, all right. So we've talked about. I want to make a couple other things. Just a couple other things that got me in this episode. It looks like there's a lot more than 150 people on the ship. You see them walking through the halls, and there's like 25 people in one hallway on one deck, and there's supposedly only 150 people on this whole ship. Okay, whatever. Anyway.
Noted. I'll note it in my log.
Anyway, not a huge fan of all the Section 31 stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they're trying to build up the show with the spinoff, and they're developing this whole thing between Giorgio and Leland. I couldn't care less, honestly. I just just move on. I just want to know about the Red Angels.
I thoroughly like it.
Okay, the whole thing. At first, I was really pissed with the Hugh and Tyler fight.
Mm-hmm.
That why would Saru let this happen? This doesn't make any sense. This is not the Starfleet way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then to be fair, Pike's like, do you think you would have made that decision if you hadn't gone into this evolution that you're going into?
Yeah.
And I do think that's part of a growing plot of Saru being going to be aggressive and not following the rules and stuff like that. Yeah, let's see what else. Okay. No, that was the only bad I have. In terms of good. Oh, one other thing. That scene where they were showing the shuttle from the outside with the probe attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they get that footage? I mean, it was the footage we saw on the show last season or last week.
Oh, I got it. I can answer this question for you.
Okay.
They warped far away faster than the light, and they sat there and then captured it when it got to them.
But they were inside a temporal rift. They couldn't even locate them, but they somehow have great footage of the exterior of their shuttle.
I don't know, man.
I know. It's just a TV thing. Like, I know the answer is a TV thing, but I was just like, eh. That's just one of those things, like, it doesn't bother me. It's a production thing. You see it all the time. But it's just kind of like...
No, I still buy
lazy.
my argument. No, I still buy my argument because remember whenever Tilly and Stamets are going over the data and it's like, oh, man, those over here, they're last week. Over here, it's 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's not 100 years, right? Wherever they were, at multiple points, they were in, like, reasonable space. So...
yeah, I don't know.
They could get the light.
All right, maybe. Whatever. Anyway, that's like the least of the things.
Sure.
One other thing that I'm not sure about, and again, somebody in chat answer if you can answer this, because again, I don't remember the cage that well. Could the Telosians actually vocally speak? I don't recall that being a thing, but they definitely did in this episode. They were like, "Oh yeah, we'll just speak with our mouths." I was like, "What? Can they do that?" Because if I remember correctly, in the cage, you just only hear them telepathically. So, but whatever. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so let's get to the core of it.
Hit me.
The Red Angel. We find out it's human.
It's Spock.
Do what?
It's Spock.
You think it's Spock?
No, because Spock's dead. I think it's Picard. I think it's Patrick Stewart.
You think it's Patrick Stewart?
Wouldn't that blow you away? Well, look, now hear me out. They're already doing.
If they wanted to tie into the new show, yeah.
They're doing Section 31.
Yeah.
They could do Picard.
Yeah.
And it's like he shows up and he's
possible.
like, God, it was awful. You fucked it all up.
No, I think
That was my best Patrick Stewart impression.
nailed it. I mean, what else is it? What else is there to say? Okay, so here's what I think it's become pretty obvious at this point. This has to do with the temporal Cold War. So
really?
as somebody who didn't like Enterprise, you're probably not gonna like where this goes. But now that we've seen, because it used to be there was speculation that the Red Angel was one of the species. I forget what. The really ancient species. They did one episode of TNG about it.
Yeah, that made all the other people.
Yeah,
The
no.
precursors, yeah?
No.
Oh.
There was another one, the Iconians,
Okay.
and they died out a long time ago. And like the lore was that they were like brutal dictators and they were enslaving people, and the people they were enslaving got up and basically fought back and wiped them out.
Sweet.
Right? But then, like, Picard has a theory, like, oh, that doesn't actually make sense. I actually think maybe the Iconians were really technologically advanced and were actually good, and they got wiped out by people that saw them as a threat. And the victors write the history books, right? So the victors. So anyway, there's a whole episode of TNG, and anyway, so there was speculation that these guys were Iconians, right? And because the Iconians they talk about had the ability, they had portals that could go through space-time. That's how advanced they were. And at one point they were huge in the Alpha Quadrant. Like they had presence on lots of planets. So people were speculating they were Iconians. And when you saw just the fuzzy outline of the Red Angel, it kind of looked like what the Iconians look like in Star Trek Online. So people were like, oh, maybe it's Iconians.
Sure.
But of course now we know it's human, and now we've seen it. It's a helmet and it's a suit. The suit looks a lot like the suit that Daniels wore in Enterprise. So remember he was the temporal agent, right? So it very obviously appears to me that I forget what side it was, but the bad guy side in the temporal Cold War is trying to wipe out the Federation.
Sphere builders? Was that
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
Like, maybe the red things are related to the spheres.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, I think so. Because, yeah, well, I don't know. It kind of falls apart. But what I'm thinking is that, yes, that this has to do with temporal Cold War, and essentially this is a temporal agent, maybe even Daniels himself, that's wearing the Red Angel suit and appearing and telling people. Now, why would he do that for Spock? Why is he wearing the red suit and stuff instead of, we saw him in Enterprise and he's just like wearing that goofy 29th century uniform?
You know who knows a lot about Spock and knows that he'll do the right thing and get it done? Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Picard knows that. He knows Spock.
You know who knows him better is James T. Kirk.
He's dead in generations.
Oh, well, but it's time travel.
I don't know, man. It's not Kirk.
It's time travel.
It's going to be Picard.
I feel like this has to do with temporal Cold War, and I think it's.
I didn't say it didn't. Just to be clear.
Yeah,
I just think
that's
it's
what I
Picard.
feel like. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about it?
Oh, which part?
I mean, what do you think
general?
it is? Now that we know the Red Angel is a human.
I like to think that it would be really nice if it was someone just super cool, like that we already know, but like is actually the same actor.
Yeah,
that would be so nice. It'd be really nice. Tie it all together. It'd make you happy. It would bring you joy, Paul. If all made sense. No, if it all made sense, they could tell you why. Look how dedicated they are about the TVs that you went on about, right? The hologram TVs. They did it for you.
You know what I hate about this? You know what I hate about doing these reviews?
What if they make it all okay, right? What if they would have tied it all together with like a big loop-de-loop of paradoxes and say, all right, well, yeah, that's time travel, folks. Let's not do that.
Okay. You know what I hate about doing these reviews? Is it makes me feel like a canon purist,
That's okay.
But I'm not.
Oh.
And I hate that. I hate the canon piercers are all like, oh, it's not this, it's not that. So it's weird to hear me making all these arguments. But again, to me, and I keep making this comparison because I don't know how else to do it. It's like Star Trek Into Darkness all over again, which is where I love the 2009 Star Trek. I like Star Trek Beyond. Actually, it's probably the other way around. I like 2009 Star Trek. I love Star Trek Beyond. What the problem with Into Darkness was that they tried to lean in too heavily on existing canon, and then they screwed it up.
Sure.
I feel like that's what's happening with Star Trek Discovery Season 2. That Season 1 was very much like it's its own thing. Mm-hmm. And all the canon peers were going, this doesn't make sense. This isn't like on canon, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, guys, it's a new show. Whatever. This is a different thing. Let them do their thing. Sure. I like it, right? Yeah. Season 2, while technically, from story perspectives and the characters, is way better than Season 1, they're leaning in so hard now on trying to retcon things and be part of canon. You know, they've changed the way the Klingons looked. They've given them new ships. You know, they're bringing Pike in. They're going to Talos 4. They're talking about, oh, why are we using holograms instead of view screens? They're doing all this stuff. And now it's gotten to the point where it feels like Into Darkness, where it's like, just do your own thing. You're leaning too heavily into it, and there's no way you can do it right.
The only way they can do it right,
just do your own thing.
I hear you. I kind of feel that way about it. The way they could do it right, as I claim, is they could just tie it all together, and I could be happy. It would be amazing if they did, right?
Yeah, but
it would be, right?
But at this point, it feels like they're really going to go for one of these temporal paradox bullshit things, and you're just going to be sitting here like, all right, so the last 2 seasons of the show didn't matter. Like that we retconned them because it turns out this is a temporal Cold War thing, and now we're going back in time, and none of that actually happened. Please don't do that to me.
No,
I just don't.
It would. Well, no. You're not quite capturing the thrust of my remark. I mean to say that I'm hoping that this universe isn't Prime. I hope we find out that not really. It's not Prime.
Well, I know, but I mean, to me, I see that as the same kind of thing.
It still exists.
Like they've been telling us for 2 years. They've been telling us since before the show came on, so 3 years, that this is Prime. They're throwing all this stuff in here.
Yeah, and Jon Snow was really dead. Remember? I don't feel weird about it.
Different universe.
Okay.
And that lines up. It's like, okay, what if they make a Game of Thrones spinoff 15 years from now, where it turns out Jon Snow actually had like a fourth Stark's sibling.
Oh.
Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what it feels like they're doing. And I just feel like they should have just done their own thing. They're just leaning too hard into it. My concern is they're backing themselves into a corner. Okay? They're backing themselves into a corner narratively by now trying to retcon things to fall in line with canon. And it's not working. So they're painting themselves into a corner where the only way they can do it effectively is to just do some kind of time travel thing or parallel universe thing and say, oh, none of that actually happened.
Maybe they'll do none of this. Maybe it'll just be a Mass Effect 3 and just be a Reaper story.
I never finished Mass Effect 3.
No, you played the best part then.
Okay. Which is weird because I loved Mass Effect 1 and 2.
I did too.
Yeah. And then I started 3 and then I just didn't finish it.
You did it right.
All right. Well, anyway. So anyway, that's the thing. The Red Angel, I think, has to be tied to Temporal Cold War. Now, tell me this. I have a question.
Hit me.
And anybody in the comments, feel free to answer this too, because I don't remember. I've been saying for several weeks now, because people in our comments have been suggesting that perhaps the Red Angel is Spock, right? And I said, well, that wouldn't make sense because we know the story about how the Red Angel came to Burnham and told her where Spock was hiding when he ran away as a kid.
Mm.
But in this episode, it was the other way around. The Red Angel came to Spock and told him where Burnham was when she ran away. Did I have it backwards?
You had it backwards.
I had it backwards this whole time.
You 1,000% had it backwards.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, my great memory strikes again.
That's all right.
So, because I've been saying for weeks now, I was like, no, the Red Angel can't be Spock, because why would the Red Angel appear to Burnham and tell her where Spock is? Why would Spock tell her where Spock is when he ran away? But obviously now that doesn't make any sense.
That's okay. It was
so it could be Spock.
It was you were in the grip of a delusion.
Apparently the Telosians had me. What can I say? Yeah, I will say here's one thing. One thing else I will say. I saw a video on YouTube. Have you heard of these videos on YouTube?
Uh-oh.
About people being really upset about SJWs in Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, I've seen some of them.
Yeah, okay. There was one in particular, and what my favorite part is how they bring back old Star Trek references to try to make it out like Star Trek was actually conservative and anti-SJW from the beginning.
This is going to depress me.
So there was a video that I saw that was essentially this mashup cut of Leonard Nimoy explaining why Star Trek Discovery's stupid.
I know. I saw this. Yes, and then he did the fight.
The Vulcan neck pinch, and then they spliced it in with clips of the fighting.
Here, I shouldn't have interrupted because the audience needs to know what we're talking about. So
okay, well, look, I'm not here to call anybody out. Okay, you may have seen this video.
It was a good video.
You can find the video if you want. It was not a good video.
Oh,
but anyway, in this video, whoever made this video basically takes scenes of a Leonard Nimoy interview saying he developed a Vulcan neck pinch because he didn't want to be violent. Yeah. Right. He was trying to make a statement about we don't need to resort to violence. Right. And then he spliced it in.
It was aggressive. Like it was murderous violence. He was fine. He was trying to touch it. He didn't want to like shoot
and then they just they just get knocked out. Right.
Yeah.
And well, he even talked about though he didn't want to do like martial arts and actually hurt them. Okay. This is just a way to make them pass out and just end the conflict peacefully.
Sure.
Right. And so the person who made this had these things spliced in with shots of, at that point, season 2 hadn't started. So it was just trailer shots of Spock fighting those doctors in that room, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, this is why Discovery is stupid, because they're not holding true to Spock. And then I love that.
Yeah, they did.
That actually happened. He gave Vulcan neck pitches to all of them.
I'm glad that Spock's mom's faith in him is rewarded.
Yes. So I like that. And yeah, I don't know. Look. All right, final thoughts. You go. I've been talking a lot.
That's cool. No, I figured you'd be more passionate about it. I just really liked all of it. On the
so you recommend?
Oh, hard recommend. Is Arium? I guess the.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She's been taken over by something. She's clearly the one sabotaging the ship.
I'm sorry to do this to you again, Paul.
Okay.
But
you're fine. I love you.
But
yeah,
the 3 dots in her eyes.
Yep.
I think represent the 3 AIs from the control of Section 31 that I was talking about earlier.
I don't.
We're gonna go back and watch it. Hey,
okay, so in the comments, tell me if you heard what Jason's talking about
call
the
me
AI
a dumbass.
I don't
call
remember.
Me a dumbass if I am. That's possible.
I just don't remember.
We'll go back and watch it. I'll eat humble pie next episode.
Sure. No,
right.
Look, I could totally be wrong. I thought Burnham saw a vision of the Red Angel for 3 weeks now, so. Yeah, I could totally be wrong here.
Yeah. And it was so creepy when they just think. I mean, remember that scene where Spock's riding on the ground?
Yeah.
And they show up, and yeah, he nick pinches them. Don't get me wrong, but like, it looked to me like they were so creepy. They couldn't.
Yeah. The doctor and those 2 guards. Yeah.
They were so creepy.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, clearly something deeper is going on in Starfleet.
Yeah.
Because,
I don't think they're normal people.
Because Starfleet's going after him for murder, and clearly he didn't murder those people.
I think they're AI. I don't think they're normal people somehow.
You think something deeper is going on? Maybe they're temporal agents.
Oh my God! They're ours. We're the Xindi to their sphere builder.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What if it's Section 31 from the future running Section 31 now?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was pretty established that we had that kind of stuff going on. Wasn't it?
No.
Didn't that happen to DS9?
No.
Oh, maybe I was wrong.
That in no sense. No, definitely not.
Oh, here's another thing. Maybe you can correct me. The things that hit the planets. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought they looked a lot like the probe that Discovery sent out that then got modified.
Oh, I didn't notice
and attacked
that.
them.
I didn't notice that, but maybe.
So I'm almost wondering if this is going to be one of those temporal paradox loops where them getting stuck in that temporal rift in the last episode, and then they shot the probe into it, and the probe got modified, came back and attacked them. Whoever was on the other side of that temporal rift got hold of that probe and figured it out, like made it super powerful, and then replicated it, and that's what they send back through to destroy all those planets in Spock's vision. That's what I think happened.
You mean as a response to them blowing up their ship and destroying it?
I don't know. I don't know what the motivation is yet. But what I mean by the temporal paradox is the idea of like, hey, it's like circular, like Discovery is trying to prevent this thing from happening, but Discovery caused it because they're using Discovery's probes, and they got Discovery's probes while Discovery was trying to prevent this from happening. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
It kind of feels like that's where they're going for, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe
it looked like it.
Maybe it's a sick prank, like we sent that probe or something, and they're like, who left a fucking probe in our space? Reprogram.
It's like the glitter box.
Reprogram them to extinct them.
Nice. It's like the glitter box on steroids.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the glitter box? That guy did. He made that.
I thought you were talking about like when people opened letters.
No, there was like a YouTube video. Well, yeah, there's a YouTube video where this guy made a contraption. He had like a HomePod box, right, and like an Apple product, and he had something stolen from his porch that he'd ordered online. So he left this online, but inside of it he rigged up like a whole bowl of glitter, and when you opened it, it just showered glitter all over you and like started detonating stink bombs, and. Oh, it's like they did that. They like took a thing oh, it's a simple thing, and we're gonna send it back to you as a glitter bomb. Yes. Have fun with that.
Yes,
So anyway, for me, look again. Technically, really well made episode. Good story. You're right. That scene with young Spock and young Burnham was devastating. I mean, I was audibly. You heard me, right? I was audibly like. How could you say that to him?
No, I didn't hear you.
When she called him a half-breed, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But so well put together episode. I'm really concerned. I'm really excited. I know.
I really liked it.
It feels like we're painting the floor and we're getting closer and closer to that corner, So anyway, but I could be wrong. All right. So looking forward to the next episode. Well, I think that about does it for Casual Notions review of Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 8. What the hell is this episode called? Hold on. Oh, If Memory Serves. Yeah. How fitting.
Thanks for joining us.
My memory's so bad. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Let us know in the comments, who do you think the Red Angel is? Do you agree that's a temporal Cold War? Or do you disagree? And and look out for our other content. So again, we stream our reviews every Thursday night after the episode airs about 9 p.m. here on youtube.com, Casual Notion. If you're looking for other content on Sundays, we stream all of our other content over at twitch.tv/Casual Notion. We do a Casual Cast, which is like a fun podcast. Talk about movies and TV and games and all that stuff. And then we do a political podcast where we just go hard on politics. I mean, we just pound it on politics. As an Orville reference, if you didn't get it.
I did.
Oh, you guys should be watching season 2 of the Orville.
Yeah,
too.
Check out Orville.
It's getting crazy.
Check out Orville.
And then we also do gameplay series. Yeah. And you can see that over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com, Casual Notion. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, hit that notification bell. And if you want to see our long gameplays, you can also see those at our second YouTube channel, youtube.com, Casual Notion Gameplay.
And thanks everybody for getting us 25 subscribers. That's a fourth of a way to 100. That's a hey.
No, it's a good number. It's a big number.
We were at 3 subscribers for ages.
Yes,
this is growth.
It's growth.
Be a part of it. Be like us before we're cool.
I'm happy to say, and I will say this also. We have been talking about doing some Saturday streams over on our Twitch channel. Doing like Star Trek Armada 3.
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek Online. We're still trying to work out the details and get going on that. But, if you want to watch it.
Oh, and we're going to be doing Sekiro on March 22nd. I'm going to be playing it all the way through on Twitch, but we're going to be uploading it hour by hour live.
Yep.
So.
Well, we're going to see.
Well, that's the plan. Paul will be doing. Paul does the heavy lifting on the computers.
Yeah.
But that's the plan.
Yeah, March 22nd, that Friday, the day the game comes out, all day we'll be streaming.
Well, until it's done. Might be a bunch of days.
Yeah. God, I hope not.
It's fine.
All right. Anyway, and then also follow us on our social media, twitter.com/Casual Notion and instagram.com/Casual Notion, even though there's nothing there yet, but we'll get to it eventually. And
leave us some comments, leave us questions, and we will answer them next time as long as they're not sordid or awful or support Trump. Gross.
Hey, you know what? No. If you do support Trump, if you're a conservative that likes Star Trek, I want you to comment and tell me what it is about Star Trek that you like, because it's not traditionally a conservative leaning show.
Sure.
But I'm interested to see what it is, because my parents also liked it and they were very conservative. So I'm interested, and I never got to talk to them about what it was. So leave a comment and let us know why you think SJWs have taken over Discovery.